Welcome one and all, this is Damn Ugly Doggy coming to you with another episode of This Land is My Land. And we officially have two solid feeder campaigns. Woot woot! So, I have been in my campaign that we worked on together right here, the Stormy Rave, and I have consolidated a few villages down. We were at 68, we are now standing at 60. We have 52% of our land. We're on day 526 and looking at 2,481 warriors. A vast majority of those warriors are on patrol. As it turns out, and I'm seeing, I suppose you would call a rhythm, a solid feeder campaign is going to end up with 60 to 65 villages. Closer to 60. If you try to expand beyond that range, you're going to have too much of your land under your own control, and you're not going to have control of the map. And I'll explain to you what I'm talking about as soon as we load up. We're going to go ahead and go into the campaign. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, why do I need two feeder campaigns? Especially since one feeder campaign is 3,000 days old, and the other one's only 500 days. Both have pretty close to the same amount of warriors. I now have over 2,000 warriors in my 3,000-day-old campaign. There really is no need to have two feeder campaigns doing the same things. So I was thinking of emptying everything out and just deleting the campaign. But then it dawned on me, hey, why not make what I would call a grinder campaign? So instead of farming things that my boys would gather, I'd basically have a majority of my boys on patrol and encourage the settlers to send in cavalry attacks as often as possible. That way, when they do come in, they're just going to get wiped out. I'll be able to collect all the guns, the ammo, the gun parts, different types of food, some medicine, and all the little miscellaneous axes and books and all that stuff that they offer. Why not? So what we're going to do today is have some fun. I'm going to show you the ins and outs of what my feeder campaign is capable of at this point. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can't push it into a grinder campaign. So I've got a few chores to do. I'm going to show you around a little bit. As you can see, my warriors are with me and just kind of waiting for me to decide to do something. Alright, so let's talk orders. So you've got control of your map, right? You own one side of it, they own the other side. As of right now, which is actually better than my other feeder campaign, they are only sending out attacks to attack one village, which is, I think, 55? Yeah. They send out attacks every so often to attack this one village. On my other feeder campaign, there's 4 villages that they'll go after. As you can see, I don't leave shotties in here and I don't leave handguns. So the last attack gained me 2 shotties, a couple of flintlocks, and gun parts. So I'm going to go ahead and collect all this real fast. Turn the music down just a hair. I had one of my streams get muted because of the background music, which I don't think should be a thing. But unfortunately it is. So I try not to let the music play too loudly. But as you can see, this one village is pretty well armed. It's the only village that has any guns in it at this point. Alright, so you've got control of your map. You pull out all your guns from all the different villages. The reason you pull the guns out from the different villages is if you have those guns in a village that is gathering, I think this one actually is. Yeah, that is gathering. When they go out for wood or non-animal items, they're going to take guns with them. If a bear kills them, and it'll only be one individual. So if a bear kills that person or a patrol or gatherers come through and kill that person, let's say they were taking your scope out to gather wood and they die, they're going to lose that scoped rifle. If it's a bear, they're going to lose it forever. If it's a patrol, the patrol will pick it up, and now the patrol will have that weapon. Not something you want. So normally, I wouldn't have a... Now that I think about it, I should cancel this. Especially since they got what they need. Normally, if my camp has guns, I don't have it gathering. Like my core village never gathers. So this is my number one village, my core. It's got all my loot in it, and it does not gather. Yeah, its only purpose is to keep my loot safe. Okay? So, let's say you gain control of the map, you take out all the guns, you want to start gathering. You want to set an order list to this without the flags. And it's basically wood, hunter's bow, arrows, sinew. Now, if you're post-treaty, they're going to have given you sinew-back bows with arrows. That'll allow your boys to go ahead and gather the sinew to create the hunter bows. If you're starting a fresh campaign and you set an order list such as this, you're going to want to make around 25 hunter bows and around 100 arrows and place those into each village. And that'll give them a nice little jump start to start collecting this sinew. You only bottleneck is going to be the amount of wood that it collects, because as they collect the wood, they're going to craft the bow and they're going to craft the arrows. They're not going to have any wood. So if they can't gather more wood than bows and arrows that they craft, then it's going to slow you down. The workaround for that is to just go through each, once you set your order list to these 4 items, go to each village, hit your gathering, and have them all gather wood. So you go down and you send them to gather wood. If you already have bows in the village, which you should, then you just hit the equip and they'll give them something to protect themselves in case they run into anything. That'll gain you a nice little amount of wood. I think I get like 120 when I send out a village with 20 warriors in it. So what else I've done is I've taken each, as you can see on the side here, I've taken each village and put them at 20 warriors apiece. This way, if anybody joins any of these villages, I'm not in danger of overpopulation and losing those warriors. As soon as they join one of these, and I can also keep track of what's going on as far as if I'm losing warriors to patrols or anything like that. So it lets me keep track a little better. But I've gone through every village and set my order list. Now I'm also crafting rope for my next little adventure. So I already had them start to collect flax. It's taken about, why does this guy only have 22? Look at all that wood. That's odd. Oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to hit inventory. Why do you have so much wood? And you don't have any bows. That's very odd. So they're not crafting, they're just collecting. Huh. Well, that was a little bit of a surprise for me. Alright, so what I did is I took everybody down to 20 warriors. I set my order list, and then I basically watched some movies. I hung out with my girl. I just kind of kept an eye on it. I played around with a few little things, running back and forth, trying to bond with my horse. I did a little bit of village maintenance as far as taking out all the weapons. I added some stuff to the mail list. In other words, I kept myself busy for about 4 to 6 total real hours. Not all in one sitting. I did it over like 3 days. I just let the game run, kind of looked for a pattern to see who was attacking where and armed those villages. And so far, the only village, like I said, that's been attacked is 55. I then what's my thought process here? I pretty much just, yeah, like I said, I watched them do this. They collect flax really fast. It takes about 2 hours to gain 200 flax each village, so that's times, 60 villages. I've been gathering that up. So the point being is that in about 6 real hours of gameplay, once you set this as your order list, this is pretty much the results that you're going to have, which is plenty of hunter bows, plenty of arrows, plenty of sinew, and plenty of wood. At this point, I can start adding animal items, and I've done that up here, and that's the process I'm at now. I've added meat for overpopulation issues, and I'm going to be crafting big spike traps. So I've added the items that I need to craft big spike traps, which is going to be rope, which is why I need the flax, so I can craft the rope. And then buffalo horn, peyote root, and death camas. If I come up to crafting, and I go to traps, you'll see that those are the items I need in order to make big spike traps. Why do I want to make big spike traps? If you look over here, you'll see the amount of SP you gain for each spike trap you create, and it is 50. And it's one of the highest. Oh wait, no, okay. For a second there, I thought this was going to give me 550 SP for one gun charge. I was like, damn! No, I need to unlock it. That's what that is. But up here, this is what it'll gain you. And in my next series, I want to go ahead and craft 1.5 million social or skill points before I start the campaign. Alrighty, let's get back to what I'm up to. So I've already set a few of my villages up to full gathering capacity. And how you do that is, let's say you are on the basic 4. You just add items, right? Then you go to order set and you name it up here and save current. That'll save the list that you want to use. Then you can go from each village. Where am I at? 3. And you just replace the list. So 4. Oops. And we're going to do this real quick. Doesn't take that long. And you can see how the numbers in front of the village name helps you keep track of where you're at. Makes life a lot easier. And then after I'm done with this chore, we're going to go have some fun with the warriors. 9. I'm going to do some testing on my war party. So you might want to hang out if you're already in here. It should be interesting. I'm going to use exploding arrows and toxin arrows. I'm going to start taking out some of these settlers that are still on my map and see if I can't trigger some raids to come through. Then I'm also going to re-expand my villages which is kind of funny because I was at 80 villages. I took out 20, and now I'm going to try to expand back up to about 110. Which, sounds like I've wasted a lot of resources, a lot of pelts, a lot of skins, and all that good stuff. But I have feeder campaigns. It really doesn't matter. I'm sitting on like 50,000 of each pelt, not to mention what's in my market. So, yeah, wasting a few thousand pelts isn't such a big deal if you have a good feeder behind you. But I do want to get this set up. And I also think I understand why the devs have decided to not allow your people to gather while you're in this screen. And that's for the longest time we've been complaining, those of us that have feeder campaigns, complain that when a raid or gatherers do come through, you lose a lot of warriors to them because they're out gathering individually. Or if you come into this map, into this screen, all those gatherers automatically go back home. So we've been asking for I thought it would be just like a selection where everybody goes back to their camp. And instead of doing that, apparently what they're doing is when you go onto this screen, then they all go back home. So it's kind of like an auto return in case of raids. I'm not sure, but that's the only logic I can see behind it. It's kind of really slowed down my gathering because I do a lot of things on this map, on this screen, I suppose you would say. All the social. Oh yeah, let's see. I'm offering a reward for a solid name. Looks like nobody's given it up yet. I'll take that. I always like checking social. I'll take those. Am I running? No, I still got plenty of tokens on it. Always likes me a good deal. That's not the worst deal ever. That's a little too pricey. I'll have to think about that. I already have quite a few. Alright, let's get back to it. Try not to get too distracted here. I definitely have a little ADHD. And at this point, I could have them pretty much gather anything I want. Up to about 5 or 6, maybe 7 animal parts. Once you go beyond that, they're not able to keep up with the crafting the new bows. They break the bows so fast that they can't keep up with it. And at some point, you'll run out of bows completely, and then all your gathering will cease. I find like 4 to 5 animal parts to be a nice little sweet point. You can always bump it up for a short period, add 1 or 2 more items to that list for a short time, but you don't want to keep it at that for too long. Because like I said, it takes around 6 real hours for them to craft enough bows to start gathering animal items again. 30. And once you get used to it, you can click through this stuff pretty quick. You might think dealing with 60 villages is a big old pain in the butt, which it can be, but it's not so bad once you get used to things. If I wasn't sitting here trying to think of what to say next, I'd be going a lot quicker. But I thought y'all might enjoy seeing this part of it. see if I can't just get through this. I'd like to get to the fun part. Ah. 41. Almost there. Then we'll jump into the good stuff. Nope. Wonder if I should make this 2 separate videos. I might make this a short one, a short stream, because I do have some fun planned after this. I might just do this as a showcase to what a feeder campaign is. I'll just call this a really short stream. I don't know. I never know what people really want. Just thinking if people come into this or start watching this video and they're not into the micromanaging side, they're going to leave before the good part. Then again, I hate to have a whole bunch of short little streams out there. So I may just continue. Okay, 55 is the one that gets attacked. I don't want them to have orders. Alright, we're almost done. And we're only like, what, 15 minutes into the stream? So that's not too bad. I'm actually really anxious. I haven't tested out whether or not your warriors will use explosive arrows and toxin arrows since they first released the war parties, and when they first released the war parties it didn't work at all. But the devs say it's working now, so I'm going to give it a shot. Alright, enough chores. Now all my villages will go ahead and gather those items. I'm going to drop the stuff that I have. I actually have more chores to do. With having so many patrols out there, anytime the settlers try to send a group of gatherers, they get wiped out. So now I have a bunch of patrols running around with items I'd like to put in my village and actually take out of this campaign. That's another thing I've been doing, is taking out all the gun parts from this campaign and putting it into my main so that I can craft up more guns. Because you always need more guns. Yeah, you know what? I think I am going to call this a short stream. Just showing off the basic feeder side of it. Then I'm going to go ahead and do another stream with the action in it. So, with that in mind, let's just show you what I'm talking about with patrols gathering items. There you go. So this patrol ran into gatherers, took them out. and now needs to go back home in order to drop those items. Now, one of the reasons I like to send all my patrols from the same core village is when they return, they just take those items right back to that village. So I'm going to go through my list real quick. Okay, there's another one. I just kind of slide on by, and there's another one. These guys have all taken out gatherers. So it looks like I had 3 of them. Alright, that means I'm going to want to send these guys out before everybody shows up. Oh, wait, no. I need to craft up more war bows. Looks like I'm going to need some medium arrows too. We'll go from 1, take you all the way down to 59. See? They're coming to attack 55. And these are kind of things that you can do while you're sitting here letting your boys gather. Just do little mundane chores. And I'll send you to 56. Send you on your way. I think there's, what did I say, 3? So there's one more coming. So I'm going to go ahead and send out one more. A lot of gatherers. That's all loot for me. Where are you? Alright, that should be good for sending out patrols. Let's see where these guys are. Some of these guys have a ridiculous amount of horses with them now, too. Now, I send all my patrols out on foot, and they all gather horses. What's he doing? Did I miss one? He doesn't look like he's going to 1. I must have missed somebody. Oh, those are wood gatherers. Huh. Look at that. Ah, these guys are all stuck. So I sent my boys out to gather wood. And they've definitely done that. Let's see if we can send you back home. Huh, that's a new one. 2,000 flax. These guys are nuts. 22. Huh. I'm going to have to go check that out. There's always something funny going on in my campaigns. Did you all go back to 22? Look at that. 5,000 wood they gathered. I'll take that. 51. That's crazy. And gathered 2,000 flax. That's why they haven't been... I got it. They got stuck. This one campaign, or this one camp, did not craft up the bows like the other ones did, and that's because they got... Ah, interesting. That's an interesting little glitch. I wonder if that's going to keep happening. Um, since it's only one, I can go ahead and... You need arrows too. Go ahead and give you that. I can go ahead and place these items in here. There you go. Give them a nice little head start. Here comes the boys to attack my village. I want to make sure one's not over pop. It's not. Okay. I also want to drop off these items. There's the wood gatherers. So they're coming into 55. I'm going to go ahead and send some boys to get these gatherers. I'm going to send these boys up to help with this attack. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we're cool. They've helped out before. I'm just collecting the parts. Five more boys just joined. While we're watching this, I'm going to go ahead and gather my flax. And this is how you quickly gather the items that your boys have been getting for you. Because that's kind of, well, there's not much to see here, but... There you go. I've just taken all the flax from all the villages. Uh-oh, I lost a dude. No! 25,000 flax. Nice. I like it. These gatherers are going to be a pain in the butt. I'm just going to come at them from all directions. This group attacking me should... There you go. He just got wiped out. And that means I need to send them back. Oh, and they grabbed all the stuff. Huh. That's funny. No loot for you. Wait for these guys to get nailed. And then I'm going to go ahead and call this a stream just to kind of show you what the feeder campaign is. And how it came together. They're having kind of a tough time chasing these gatherers down. Some iron gatherers. Little by little, they're picking them off. Wonder if these guys would just go here. Yeah, 3 groups of guys chasing that one group of gatherers. Oh, this is from one. No, I don't want to send them from one. This could get interesting. Kind of curious, are these guys going to attack this group too? Or are they going to stay focused on him? And how many wood gatherers are there? Damn, that was like 8 guys so far I've killed. The iron gatherers are going to have a bad day. Unfortunately, my patrols don't really seem to be working so well. They kind of pick them off little by little, but they can make it through quite a few patrol. Just kind of watching this play out. Look at that line of patrol. Each one of these little icons is 15 guys. So you can imagine how many dudes they've already run through. Finally. That must have been like a 20 dude gathering group or something. That was a lot of guys. Yeah, I was kind of wondering. It'd be nice if these 3 guys had continued to pursue the iron gatherers. Just in case a dev decides to watch this little episode, they'll be able to see what's going on. There you go. I mean, they do eventually kill them, but I don't know how they can make it through 15 groups before they do. Before one of them finally kills them. So that's more stuff I need to send back to my core village. But yeah, basically that is what I would call a solid feeder campaign. Now if I go into this, you'll see my boys are going to go ahead and gather. One of the things I like to do, since you have to be in this on this screen in order to gather is I go ahead and go around my map and collect all my wagons, which, isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it's something to do. There's always something to do. You can always just go and explore. You can play with your war party. You can do stuff with your horse. There's always something to do. I just can't get him to the third one for some reason. Feed my horse. I suspect, though, I'm going to get into my third one today. You can always run circles. Yeah, there's always something you can do, though. Alright, I think that's pretty much it for explaining and showing off the feeder campaign. But that is definitely a win for me. It took me 500 in-game days basically to set up a feeder campaign. Now granted, I had a little bit of a head start with the million social points that I crafted prior to starting the campaign. But I would say even from scratch, it would probably take you another like 50 in-game days to start from nothing and work your way through a campaign. So yeah, that's the gist of it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you enjoy this episode. The next episode is going to be a little more fun. I'm going to go ahead and test out some of the war parties. And yeah, go from there. All right. Peace out.